Hey guys, coming on just a couple minutes early to get started for the Rebecca Lynn Pope show on Thursday night instead of Wednesday night. This is our live Q&A show where I take questions directly from my inbox. And for those of you who said you don't need to remain anonymous, you'll come on live with me to have a discussion and a live coaching session. Hello, everybody. Max Mellow 94, welcome, love. Hello. Miss Yo the Virgo, you're so beautiful. Thank you, Miss Yo the Virgo. I appreciate it. Thank you. Diane, I actually did my makeup today. I had to do an interview with a radio show today on video. I had to do my makeup. I feel like such a nerd girl when I have to do my own makeup. All Things Cadence, welcome, sweetheart. Hello. The Ariel Effect, Deontay Thompson, welcome, sweetheart. Hillary Gloss, welcome. Good evening from Portland, Maine, all the way up in Portland. We can join you on video. Yeah, yes, Max Mellow 94. If you send an email in with a question and say that you want to come live with me on video, you can come live with me and we can have a discussion and talk about some things. For those that want to remain anonymous, they just send me emails and I read them online and answer the best of my ability without having lots of details in the emails. I can't read a book. Please don't send a book. If you send an email and you're going to be anonymous, please don't write me a book in the email, guys. I can't read all that online. Hey, beautiful soul. Looking forward to today's show. Jay Delicious, welcome. Max Mello, what's your email? It's live at Rebecca Lynn Pope. Dogs barking, my Google girl talking, Alexa having a fit. So much noise in the background. Sorry, guys. Live at Rebecca Lynn Pope is where you send your emails, guys, with your questions. If you want to come on with me live on camera, let me know that. If you want to be anonymous, put that in your email as well so I don't say your name. Bringing this back up. I came on just a couple minutes early because I'm just going to jump right in. What did my computer just do? Did you hear everything just go crazy? And then my screen done changed colors and acting crazy. I don't know what's going on. My monitor, I have one of those big, huge monitors, guys, and it just changed colors on me. It's doing something crazy. All right, I've got a question, an anonymous question here. And I'm going to read the first one. I'm going to call her T. Use the first initial. T is 28. The gentleman she's dating is 43. And she says, hi, I just finished watching your YouTube video about people with issues. I'm currently dating someone that I believe has depression and hasn't came out and admitted it. We're in a long distance relationship. And whenever he's in town, he chooses to hang out with his friends, but does the bare minimum to see me because he says he's going through something. How should I handle this? Okay, so Tanisha, oh God, I'm sorry, guys. I said her name. Well, we don't know her last name. Don't say anything on our live video, T, because I just said your name. Then everybody will know who I'm talking about. So don't say anything on the video, okay? So you'll stay anonymous. He's 43 and she's 28, guys. This is our first question for the night. Long distance relationship. I followed up the email right before I came on to ask her how long they had been seeing each other. I want to know, maxmello is at gmail.com. It's .com. Live at RebeccaLynnPope.com. Live at RebeccaLynnPope.com to send in your questions, guys. Okay. Okay. So T, you're 28. He's 43. It's long distance. I sent some follow-up questions. She hasn't responded, guys. So I don't know how long they've been dating. I don't know how many times they've seen each other in person. These are some crucial details. But what I will say is that at 43, this is a man who's 43 years old. She's 28. She thinks he has depression, but it doesn't matter if he's not making time to see her. They're already long distance, so they don't have access to actually physically see each other frequently. Long distance relationships are really tricky, guys. It's difficult. It's already innately difficult to get to know someone because FaceTime and talking on the phone does not equate to really going through real life scenarios and getting to know someone the way you would going on dates, seeing how they interact with people, being around them in their everyday life, to see how they handle stress, to see who they're hanging out with. I mean, you don't know how they're living. This person could be anybody for all you know in a long distance relationship when you are not consistently seeing them, getting to know them, and interacting with them. Okay? Hello, Enrique. Thank you for coming on, sweetheart. So here's the thing. So I don't know how long you've been dating him, but at 43, he can go see his friends when he comes to town, but he can't see you. So he's got something going on, that he's got some complications in his life or going through things, but it doesn't stop him from hanging out with his friends, but it keeps him from seeing the woman that he's dating. The woman that he's acting like this is a relationship or headed towards something serious. I mean, I don't have all these details because she's not on with me, but I have to then kind of guess along the lines of where this is going to say, no, ma'am. That's right. All Things Kane says, is this man married? You don't know what's going on, T. I mean, at the end of the day, it could be so many different things going on. Now, I did date a man who was suffering from depression, and I figured out what was going on, but we lived in the same town, so we were seeing each other frequently, and it was as he broke our rhythm of communication and dates, I was recognizing he was just like disappearing, and I could have just said, oh, he's seeing someone else, but we ended up having a very real conversation, and I just straight up asked him what was really going on, and he finally admitted to really suffering with depression, and that in his family, he came from a religious family, he didn't believe on going on medication. So he was literally suffering with chronic depression. Wonderful man, wonderful guy, but that was like, you know, we dated for several months. I really liked him, but it really couldn't go any further because he had an unmedicated, untreated major issue that caused him to be unstable and inconsistent. Nia Love says, random question. Do you listen to the Universe Guru on YouTube? I don't know who the Universe Guru is. I don't really watch a lot of people on YouTube or watch other people's content, guys. I'm just telling you that right now. I try to protect my spirit. I don't watch a lot or consume a lot of people's content online because I just have to stay in my own, you know, my own space with God to protect my energy. But anyway, so T, that's my best case scenario that, I mean, from my understanding of the details you've given me, this is the best I can give you. It's a nah for me. I 43 years old, the last thing you should be worried about, T, is seeing somebody. There are some basics for relationships, some basics for dating. One of those basics is being able to connect and spend time with someone and being able to communicate effectively. Those are two of the major components of getting to know someone to think about building a life and a long-term commitment with someone. You have to be able to effectively communicate consistently and see each other to get to know each other consistently. If he's not even making time to see you when he does come to town, you're not seeing him at all, which means you don't know him and this relationship is not progressing. Thank you, sweetheart. You love my bracelets and nails. Thank you. Okay, so that's the best I can answer it. It's a nah. You're better off opening your options back up and meeting some new people because at the end of the day, you're not in a relationship and this isn't headed towards a relationship because it doesn't have any legs up underneath it in order to grow into the next level of a committed, monogamous, potentially marriage relationship. I'm a Taurus. I'm not built for long distance relationships. Max Mello says, yep, long distance is hard. I tried doing it as well. It was impossible because job landing was hard just to travel to her at the very least. Yeah, I'm not built for long distance relationships. I tried that when I was single, guys. That never worked for me. You would literally have to be really making it a priority to see me very quickly if we were in a long distance situation because I don't trust getting to know you over the phone. It's 2022 and, I was single years, I've been married, 8 years. But even back in, 2003, 2012, 2011, you know, you can't just trust whoever people try to present to you and meet their representative until you're spending. Listen, here's a real basic rule of mine. Until you meet someone in person, imagine you fall in love with somebody through just talking to them and you get all caught up with them, and you meet them in person and their breath stinks and they have horrible hygiene, or they're catfishing you and they don't even look like any of these pictures they done sent you. I mean, there's things for me, like, I am very sensitive to smell. I have a very high sense of smell. Like, smells are really difficult for me to overcome. Really, really difficult. I mean, like, I have to be able to see you, smell you, interact with you, and make sure I really, really dig you and like you in real life, real time, not virtually. What would you say is the most amount of years could be between age gap relationship? I'm 22 years old. You know, I don't like to give rules to things. I think for any rule you give, there's always going to be an exception. When it comes to an age gap, I think that anywhere between 8 to 12 years, you know, is a decently easy age gap to kind of be able to say it still works kind of organically, depending on the two people. The maturity level of the younger person, the youthfulness of the older partner. I think, you know, there's quite a few things that come into this. Hey, Carrie Pope, I see you on here, baby. You know, I think there's dynamics, there's variables that come into play with age gaps. Carrie is about 8 years older than me. We get along phenomenally. I do think that a little bit more of a mature man, an older man, definitely is very attracted to a little bit of a younger woman. I think ladies, you should, if you are not open to dating a little older, you should be. There is a dynamic in a younger woman and a little bit older man where he treats her, will tend to treat her the way she wants to be treated. There's a dynamic there that the age gap causes, that causes it to be in the benefit of both parties. Okay. Let me see and go into my next question. I know we have a live guest coming on at 7:30, and Ashley's going to remind me. Nia says, I'm healed and ready to date. I just moved to the DMV. I'm 26. Where should I start? Nia, I would start with online dating apps. I would not be waiting to just meet people in person. That's just so much harder to do nowadays. You could start with taking my divine dating workshop that's coming out soon. That would teach you how to actually utilize the dating apps to your benefit if you want true love and you want to really be attracting true companionship and partnership and soulmates. Okay, let me go to the questions. Oh, Max, I see your question at the very top. I'm going to ask this question. Hey, Rebecca, how's life treating you? I'm great, Max. Thank you. Question. I've seen videos of Kevin Samuels telling women who want rich husbands and are not rich themselves or are not around those kinds of men won't attract them because the women aren't rich themselves. Is this true to you? So Max, let me say this. In my experience as a matchmaker, women being wealthy is not a vetting quality for rich men. For women who want rich men, the number one thing is going to be looks. That's the number one thing. Men of all different levels of income and socioeconomic levels will deal with a beautiful broke woman. You could be, if you are drop dead gorgeous and broke as a joke, they don't care. It's gonna be your rare man that is literally vetting based on a woman's finances. And men like to posture and talk good talk like that, Max, like you're looking for so much more, but then let a really gorgeous, drop dead gorgeous woman come along who doesn't have all of these other intrinsic, qualities that they say they have to have. She's just drop dead gorgeous physically, and they're dealing with all kinds of situations and deal breakers and non-negotiable things that they said they would never deal with. And he's crazy about her, making all these exceptions, breaking himself, killing himself, losing sleep at night, dealing with this crazy chick. So a woman doesn't have to have money to deal with a man who has money. She's just got to be physically what he really, really, really loves and does it for him. Because that looks thing is the number one thing for all men. But then rich men, because of money, have more of a selection and options, so that caliber of attractiveness and beauty just keeps going higher and higher, because his money gives him access to beautiful broke women. Yeah, the looks is the entry point, but a lot of men are not as deep as they try to portray themselves to be. Men can, in my experience as a matchmaker, men can be very, very superficial. Your average man will take a drop dead gorgeous woman, a 10, all day long, and deal with her issues and craziness, and take her 9 times out of 10 over the more well-balanced woman who has better character, better intrinsic character values, morals, virtues. He'll still take the drop dead gorgeous woman 9 times out of 10 over the 6 or 7 who has the intrinsic values that would make her a better wife and mother. Income wise speaking, it's a matter of if she's an awe thing to him. Yes, if whatever does it for him is what he's going to like. And that can vary depending on the man. I had male clients who liked short hair and freckles. I think women create these things in their mind about what all men want, and they think that all men want this certain prototype of what a woman looks like. And that's not true. Men like all different types of things that do it for them. And it's just whatever does it for him. He says, okay, then my friend isn't too crazy. You must have a friend who wants a rich husband or a rich man, and she's really, really good looking, and you're thinking she's so broke, but it's not fair that she wants a rich man. If she's gorgeous, she can get one. Yes, the network kings, the society in general is superficial, men and women both. Yes. Derek said he met his fiance on Match.com, Nia. Did you hear that? Up in DMV, you were asking about how to date. Yeah, he met his fiance on Match.com. I met Carrie Pope through Facebook. It's the technology now, guys. 9 times out of 10, the way you're going to meet your significant other is going to be through some type of technology. She's cute and in the service. Yeah, if she's really, really cute, guys, and this is why it's the dating game is not fair, because women think if they go get all these degrees and education and make all this money and they buy a house and they're solid and their credit's good and all that stuff, that they are a more, eligible woman on the open market. And the truth is that the more physically appealing you make yourself, the more options you have for potential partners when you're a woman. Because a man only looks at those other things after he first looks at you physically and says, you do it for him, oh my gosh, she's so fine. All those other things are just icing, cherry on top. I learned that when I was broke one time. I was somebody who typically really had my ish together, and I went through a downhill, point in life and lost a lot, and I just wasn't at my A game. And I'll never remember. It was like men were just, it was almost like the damsel in distress syndrome. Like ladies, when you are good looking and you are taking care of yourself physically and you are presentably beautiful, like you make yourself presentable to look good. I couldn't believe it. I had more dates and more men wanting me when I was broke and down and out than I had when I had money. B-Lady86 says, men tell me I'm too pretty and look intimidating. That's why you need to be dating on the apps. Men told me the same thing. If I hadn't been on the apps, honey, I would have never had any dates. Because men just were intimidated by me and never talked to me. So, okay, let me go. There you go. Naya 556882 says, I'm a beautiful woman with a good personality. I noticed a lot of men tend to fall for me because of those things I just mentioned. Baby, it really doesn't take much more than that. Being really good looking physically with a nice, sweet, cool personality, and men are just flock. It's not about the resume, ladies, the way, we now in modern dating are trying to, women are now thinking you've got to be like a man in order to get a man. No, that's not how it works. Men haven't changed as far as what they really want. And anytime you feel like you're trying to impress a man with your accomplishments, money, titles, he's really not that into you. If you're having to go there to try to impress him, if you're trying to get his attention to, literally get him into you, you're having to, talk about vacations, what car you drive, where you live. You're trying to impress him with all this resume stuff. He's really not into you. Network King says, media music has people so messed up with the definition of love. So true. So true. Miss Yo, the Virgo says, I need your class. Is it free? No, it's not going to be free. It's going to be a whole divine dating workshop, sweetheart. It's not like a one and done. It's going to be a workshop, but it's going to be like very affordable. It's not going to be expensive. I know that's all relative, but you know what I mean. I've had courses that are thousands of dollars. So this is not that. It's not going to be that. Yeah, it's dating, not an interview. Michelle says some men blatantly ask, what do you bring to the table? And ladies, I do want to say this. Never, ever in a million years in my whole experience of dating and being single did a man who was really, really interested in me ever ask me that question. The only men who are asking those questions are A, if they're really not that into you and they're trying to just like get you off center, or B, they're a jerk and they intentionally try to upset women or get you out of your vibe, your groove, and your confidence by asking a stupid ass question like that. But when a man is really, really, really into you and digging you and really attracted to you, they're too nervous to ask you that kind of question. They're too nervous. They're too into you. They're too worried about blowing it. They're too worried about you not liking them. When a man is really, really digging you, he's not saying those kind of questions or those kind of things to you because in his mind, you are such a catch and so many men want you that he's not trying to say the wrong thing to scare you off or turn you off. So I met some jerks. I met some narcissists, but those are the only kind of people who would ever say that kind of thing to you. Because men who really, really are interested in you never say those things. I had no luck on dating apps. Well, that's what I'm going to teach in the class, honey, is how to use the dating apps and what to do. So you learn how to do it. Okay? How to do it. Okay, Max, I hope I answered your question. Let me see if I can go back and get another one. Some of these people did some of these people actually want to come on, but they just weren't available tonight? It looks like a lot of them are saying they wanted to do the actual session with me and come live. But I don't see, they're not. Nia says, I'm a healed and healthy woman and my ex called me boring. His ex gave him drama. I didn't. Nia, I think all well-balanced, healthy, loving, cool women can relate to feeling like we're boring to to people who are used to drama. Oh, Naya says I wanted to come live. Okay, Naya, I'm going to bring you live. Let me see if I can bring Naya live, if I know how to do this. Let me see. No. Okay, request to join, Naya. I'm trying to click on you, but it won't let me bring you on, which means that I don't know. Something with the technology. You have to request to join me live, Naya, if you got questions. Max says, I have a preference, but end up attracting the opposite. Am I crazy for hoping to genuinely attract my preference? Max, that's a really good question, Max. Let me say this, Max. I don't know how to bring people online. It's not letting me. You have to request it, guys. Max, let me say this. It really depends on what that preference is, Max. I mean, preferences are wide ranging. Like, is it ridiculous? Is it absolutely just so ridiculous, Max? Like, have you ever dated someone who was your preference? Has anyone who is your preference really shown genuine interest in you? I mean, you know, these are crucial questions about preference because preferences can really vary. And depending on the preference, you might be preferencing yourself right out of the market and out of love. Oh, I see it from Network King. I see the plus sign, guys. I just was trying to bring on the Naya up above, but I couldn't click her. It wasn't letting me get that option to bring her on. Oh, she says I just sent the request. Let me see. There it is. Hot, y'all. So yeah, Max, it would just depend on what that preference is. And if that preference likes you. Max says, in high school, I attracted my preference. So what changed, Max? That would be the question. What changed? What changed about you to where your preference don't like you now? That's the question. Max said brunettes and tan skin. Max, I'm gonna need you to ask a request to be in my video so we can have a conversation about brunettes and tan skin. Let's talk about that. Hi, sweetheart. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Tell me how to pronounce your name, baby, so I don't mess it up.
Naya.
Okay, Naya. Tell me what you got, honey. What's your question?
So I'm 20.
Mm-hmm.
Should I still be dating or be single?
You're 20?
Yep.
And should you be dating?
Yep.
Have you ever been dating?
Mm-hmm.
You've been dating. How old were you? How long you been dating?
I'm like 16.
Since 16. Have you had any like serious boyfriends?
Mm-hmm. I just got a relationship, so.
You just got out of a relationship. Okay. So here's the thing. Dating 18 to 25 gets kind of crazy because you're so young. So at 20, should you really be dating for marriage? You're not ready to get married. You see what I'm saying? Which means if you're dating, it should be more like friends and fun. I would definitely encourage you to not be having casual sex.
Okay.
The more casual sex you have in your early 20s, the harder it's going to be to find someone you love as you get a little older. Because you start having all these experiences and creating all of these soul ties, and then you start getting hurt. And as you get hurt, it becomes harder to trust. It becomes harder to make connections. Does that make sense?
Yep. Yes, ma'am.
So I say date as much as you want, have friends, meet people, connect, have lots of conversations, meet men and ask them a lot of questions, get to know and understand men better. Go on dates and just treat it like you're meeting fun new people. But don't put expectations on men at this age about forever. The men who come at you talking about forever at 20, don't even go for it. They might mean it while they're saying it, but do they really, really know what they're talking about? At 20, forever is a really long time. A really, really long time, right? And so guys, when they're young, can kind of shoot smoke and say all kinds of things to tickle your ears and try to get in your pants, but don't go for it. Work on your own goals, work on your own passions, work on your education, your money, traveling. But I don't want you to not date, but I just want you to date for fun and date for friendship. Don't date. I don't want you to not date, because there's very valuable knowledge in you getting to know men and listening to them and learning what you need, learning how men's nature is so different from our own and getting an understanding of that. That's really, really crucial knowledge.
Okay.
Does that answer your question?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And if you can take the Divine Dating Workshop, sign up for that when I release that, because that'll teach you how to date. And it'll also teach you the right posture to date, even when you're casually dating. How to believe in yourself, how to present yourself when you're dating, all of that. Okay? All right, sweetheart. Thank you for coming on.
No problem.
Okay, bye-bye. Okay, guys, I think I've got is it almost 7:30? Actually, 7:29. I know that we had, what's her name, Ashley? Let me go back to my messages from Ash. Shanti. All right, is Shanti on yet? Max Mello, you request by hitting the little camera button down below. Yeah, somebody said that amazing advice. Wish I heard that when I was 20. You know, to really be honest, guys, like when you're like church girls, good girls, raised the way, I don't know, raised the way I was, we weren't allowed to think about just dating. You know, that wasn't being a good girl. You know what I mean? We weren't allowed, because they just assumed you're having sex. But we're allowed to date and meet people and learn how to navigate dating. Okay, Shanti, click. Oh, there you are, babe. And then I'm going to come back and see who else wants to talk. Shanti.
Hi, Rebecca.
Hi, darling. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing great, sweetheart. I'm feeling so much better than I did last night. I had to cancel last night. I had a headache and I was tired, and my vibes were too low. Y'all didn't want to see me last night. I've been on here like, what y'all talking about tonight? I don't know. I don't have no answers.
Yep.
So I had to wait till I felt better.
Aw.
Okay. Shanti says, hello, Rebecca. My name is Shanti. I'm a fan of yours and enjoy watching Marry Me Now. I have a question on dating. Why is it difficult for women to let go of a relationship that is no longer working? Instead, they wait for the guy to end the relationship. Now, Shanti, that is a very loaded question.
Yes.
Okay. And let me explain why that's a loaded question. It seems simple on the surface,
Right.
but it gets deep real quick about why do women hold on to these dead end, toxic, ain't working, ain't flowing, God ain't in it. Like, we could just go on and on, right?
Yep, that's right. That's right.
So let me speak from the perspective of good women.
Okay.
You're welcome, Naya. She said, thanks, Rebecca, for the advice. I was so nervous. You're welcome, sweetheart. I love my young girls. I love our young ladies. They need all of the support and love we can give them. Okay. So I'm gonna give it from two perspectives. Okay. One, good women hang on too long because our heart, you notice I'm saying I'm gonna put myself in this category. Why did I hang on too long when I hung on too long?
Me too.
Man, I've been there. Okay. I was in a 3-year
Yep.
relationship that should have been one, right?
Yes.
Like,
Yep.
okay. So here's our hearts. Let's talk about good women.
Okay.
We believe in the best in people.
Mm-hmm.
We see the potential of who they
Yep.
could be
That's true.
if by some miracle God blessed them with a miraculous healing and turnaround. We
Yep.
believe in their potential. We see their heart.
Mm-hmm.
We understand why they are the way they are. And because we understand their root issues
Mm-hmm.
and the empathy and compassion that we have for them causes us to feel like there's still hope in the relationship because we understand them.
Mm-hmm.
But understanding them doesn't mean they're going to change,
Hello.
right? It just
That's
means
right.
we understand why
That's
you
right.
so messed up
Right.
and
Right.
why you crazy and why
That's
you don't
right.
commit and why you why you don't treat me right.
That's right.
But it doesn't change them. But our hearts are so big
Mm-hmm.
and our hearts are so kind. And it's also connected to long suffering. It's connected to humility. It's connected to compassion. It's connected to the love of God we have in our hearts that are so closely connected to the Spirit of God.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's all connected to that. Now, the flip side of the coin is that women like this also tend to eventually be broken.
Mm-hmm.
Good women over
Yep.
time with enough of these experiences and disappointments and heartbreak
Mm-hmm.
become hurting and broken. So now you don't walk away because you don't believe in yourself.
Yep.
You don't believe in your options. You don't really know that God has better for you, like deep down. You may
Mm-hmm.
say that with your mouth. You may, think that and posture that with ego in your head, but deep down in your soul, in your heart, you're scared that you can't do better
Right.
than this. So you hang on and you're trying to make it work because like a bird in the hand is better than a bird in the bush, right? Like you're trying to
Yep.
hold on to what you got because you're not sure.
Right.
And through all the pain, depending on whether there's issues of codependency,
Mm-hmm.
fears of being alone,
Mm-hmm.
all of that cocktail now can be at play for why people stick around
That's true.
too long.
That is so
So,
true.
to break that habit, you have to heal. You have to build self-confidence. You have to believe in the potential of God and blessings for yourself, not just others, for
Mm-hmm.
yourself. You have to be willing to own that anything that is not blessing you and not treating you like a child of God is not of God and is not for you. So that means
Mm-hmm.
God has better, and you have to be willing to release whatever you've got in your hands and empty your hands so that God can then bless you with something new. You can't receive with your hands full, holding on for dear life to something else. You've got to
That's right.
release it to be able to receive something new.
That is so true. That is so true.
So, what I discern about you
Mm-hmm.
is you fall into both categories. You are a woman of God who loves God and has a big, huge heart, but
Mm-hmm.
now you've also been beat up by these people who have taken advantage of that heart and taken advantage of that love. And so over time, you've doubted yourself and began to feel like, oh, as I'm getting a little older, and then so all that sneaky fears and tricks of the enemy sneak in and start to play with our minds to get us to settle for whack crap that is not meant.
Mm-hmm. Right. That's true. Yeah, because
But
the
you didn't
reason.
start out that way. You
Right.
didn't start
Right.
out that way, Shanti.
Mm-mm.
You started out confident. You started out
Mm-hmm.
sassy.
Mm-hmm.
Real sassy. I feel like you got some real sass to you. You being real quiet on here, but you sassy, mama. I can already read it. I'm reading it all over you. It's all over you. Sassy.
But you know what though, Rebecca, is it's funny because I brought this question up. It wasn't for me, but here's the thing. But you're right though. As far as me is concerned, you're right. Confident, the whole nine. And see, I've been married twice, Rebecca. All right. So I had to learn, through that journey, that hey, I gotta choose Shanti. I come first, right? And that last one tripped me out. Okay, just saying. But you're right. After a while, with all the beat down mentally and emotionally, it does affect
Yes.
you. And what I'm
It
trying to
affects
do
you.
is help my sisters. Hey guys, hold up for a second. I've been there, done that. And I'm trying to
Yep.
help you not go where I went. You know.
Exactly.
So this is what's
Exactly.
happening. Yeah, this is definitely
But you
what's
got to
happening.
make sure that you are the first partaker of the help you're giving to everybody else.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Because life takes its toll.
Right.
It's not easy. This thing called life beats us up.
Yes, it
And it's
does.
not just me and you, it's everybody. Some people just act like they haven't been beat up.
Mm-hmm.
But this thing called life is a very fair teacher.
Right.
It touches all of us. None of us get out of this thing called life without any ups and downs.
That's true. That is so true.
Oh, Utopia Living made a good point. She said, Utopia Living with Naya says, we also beware of narcissistic men
Yes.
that seem to like the complete package and will try to
Mm-hmm.
steal your joy and sense of confidence. That's so
Yep.
true. They are
Fur.
attracted.
Yes, that
That's
is
so
so
true.
true. Spot on, 100%. I totally agree.
Yeah, so
Totally
true.
agree.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you so much for coming on, sweetheart. I hope
Thank
I answered your
you.
question
Yes, you
effectively.
did. Thank you for having me. I definitely appreciate it.
Okay, you're welcome, love.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, let me see. Max asked to be on. Let me see, Max. I have more questions for Max. And then King, the other, who was on here? The network King, you had some questions. You had a question. You want to talk about something. Yes, we must be intentional about ongoing healing. Yes. Hi, Max.
Hello.
So you like brunettes, tan brunettes.
Yeah, to give you a better example, it's like think Vanessa Hudgens type look. Not necessarily like at the
Mhm.
scale of 10, but just an example.
The overall, like Italian, olive,
So
uh,
something like that, but think like with a Dominican background. Like in high school, that's what I
okay.
was attracting. I was attracting girls from my own background.
Okay,
But
you're Dominican.
yeah, I mean, so that and nowadays, like I've dated Italian and black.
Uh-huh.
And for some reason, I'm finding myself only attracting black girls. And I'm like,
Well, because you're light skin.
and
Max,
what?
you're light skin.
A little bit.
I mean,
I,
okay,
I'm
you're
a light.
Dominican.
Yeah, I'm a
You're
little.
Dominican.
I mean, I'm a little like. Well, I used to be a little lighter than this, but to give
But
you a
I'm
better
just
idea.
saying, Max, you know opposites attract, right? Like
Mm.
caramel to dark skinned girls are like gonna love you. They look at you like, ooh, Poppy. Like
That's true. That's true. Yeah. Yeah. Like the thing is, like lately, I've been like, I would like to date a girl. I be general, but like I would like to date a Latina again, like or try to because I used to attract that. Don't ask me
right.
why. All of a sudden, I'm just like, no, I want that, and I'm like, but I keep attracting African American girls. I'm just like, what's going on? Like right now, I'm talking to one who's Christian as well. She's very great. She's great and everything. And for some reason, that thing in the back of my mind, like, no, I want a Latino wife. Like,
Okay, Max. So you want me to just keep it 100 with you?
yeah, yeah. Like, because I'm like, I don't want to be those guys. I don't want to be the type that like the type is what keeps me single. You know
Yes.
what I mean?
And
Because
your
like,
type can keep you single.
yeah, like,
Because what, okay, so I'm going to give you the rundown,
right,
okay? The real deal Holyfield, okay?
okay,
So your type is very attractive across the board to all men.
mm,
By the time you talk about light skin, brunettish, that runs the gamut of Dominican, exotic, Latina, dark colored white girls,
Yeah.
that all fall into this kind of like stereotypical baddie exotic girl,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? Like,
Yeah.
so even if she's not a 10, I've seen men posting their chicks like she the baddest, finest thing, anything, and she just light skinned with some dark hair, and is not cute at all. But yet he's acting like she's a baddie. Her facial features are not cute, but yet she light skinned with some dark long hair, and now right, some mini Kim Kardashians, little
Yeah.
mini
Yeah.
Kims.
I don't know about. Oh no, Kardashians is not a good
Okay,
example.
we don't want to use Kim. You don't
No,
like Kim,
I
but you
use. Look, I
understand what
use.
I'm saying though.
Yeah. Yeah. I hear you. Like no, like
So by the time you're saying, "Oh, Rebecca, I just want to date girls like I dated in high school," and and they were like Latina and or Dominican girls. Well, fast forward to 2022, Max, and them girls can have anybody they want.
Yeah.
And back again, because men are all about the looks, they don't have to have money. They ain't got to have their ish together. They don't have to have good credit. They just got to be light skinned pretty.
Yeah. Like I mean, I have a certain range. Like I'll take. Like I'm preferring like just a girl from my ethnic background more so.
Yeah.
Like look, if she doesn't look like Vanessa Hudgens, it's not the end of the world. If she doesn't have that stereotypical look, it's fine. I'm just saying, like, I'm just giving you an example. I'm just giving you an idea, like.
I know what I understand.
So I'm just like, am I unrealistic or is it
Yes.
just okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
By the time you take into account, so here's the other layer I want to give you of why your type doesn't want you. You'd have to find a unicorn, okay?
Okay.
Because by the time you talk about light-skinned Latina, the way they look, and then you add in who you want her to be on the inside intrinsically.
Mm.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So now you want her to have a good heart. You want her to be down to earth. You want her to be kind. You want her to be a gracious person. You want her to have, right? Like, right? I mean, you looking for a wife, right?
Yeah.
Max, by the time you talking about a light-skinned Latina Dominican girl, she don't even have to be banging. But now you're also talking about with the heart of an angel who's sweet, her looks haven't got to her because dudes are pressed about these types of girls. So they trick off with these types of girls, throw money at them, anything trying to get them. All of that attention goes to their head.
They're
So
high
now by
demand.
the time, huh?
They're in high demand.
They're in high demand and they know it. And now they're entitled because they're so used to all this attention and used to men tricking off that now you meet them in matchmaking. When I met a girl like you're describing, and she still had a good heart and she was sweet and she was kind, at the agency, we called her a unicorn. Because that's how rare it is to meet these little it girls that are the prototype for what all these men want, who have the intrinsic values and still have humility and kindness and a good heart. Their heads are so blown up, like I deserve a baller. I deserve a footballer. I deserve, because they dated a couple of these guys and literally the only thing they brought to the table was their looks. And so when all these opportunities you riding in Mercedes, you're at his house at the baby mansion, you go into parties with all the it crowd, and you literally the only thing you bring to the table is looks.
Yeah. I guess because I have a friend who's married, and he got to marry his type. It turns out I don't know if it just happened that way. Because like he apparently has a thing for Haitian girls. His wife is a Haitian girl. I met her in college, and then I met him, and he's Puerto Rican, all that stuff. And the funny thing is, his mentors are the ones that started saying to his wife when he met her was, your type is what's gonna keep you single. Yet he married his type. So I'm like,
Right.
okay, so
But
I don't know if that's just
is
a
his
grace from God
Haitian
or not.
wife,
What happened?
does his Haitian wife look like a Dominican baddie?
I would call her a bad. She's cute. I mean, I don't know what she would. I don't know what you put on the
Okay,
scale because
is
I'm
she
not like that.
light skinned?
No, she's like around your tone actually.
Okay, but once
Petite.
again,
Yeah.
petite, and when did they get married? How
Uh,
old were they?
maybe. Oh God, I think it was three. I know it was before the pandemic.
Okay,
2019 or 2018.
so what
2019.
was that age range, Max?
They were in.
How old were
They were in there. They were like 23. They were young.
they? Young.
I'm older than them. So
Young. They're really young. So guess what, Max? He snatched her up before she got caught up in modern dating
yeah, they were friends in
and
high
out
school.
here with all this attention,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. They knew each other in high school, so I guess their friendship helped. So maybe it's just one of those rare
Definitely.
cases. I
Yes.
guess that just gave me the impression that it could still happen for me because he got his type. And because I was thinking like I don't think I'm trying to be unrealistic. I'm just like because I'm open. Like I'm not. I try to be open, but it's always in the back of my mind. So I'm just like, okay, am I crazy or is it
So
because
so
I don't want to
here's
waste
the
my
thing. And
time either.
how old are you, Max?
I'm 28.
Okay, Max, it's going to get harder and harder
Mm,
because his type is not the same type as your type.
mm,
Like I'm saying, the type you're describing is literally like every man's type. White men want her, black men want her, every other ethnicity wants her.
I don't know. I see.
Even nowadays, with the makeup and the hair and the lashes, she could be a very petite, not even body. And literally, between the looks that you can create, she's in high demand on social media. If she's, pretty in the face, I mean, she ain't even got to have body, and men will throw themselves at her
You
because there's this stereotypical look that so many men go for.
mm, yeah, like so even girls say they have that background, but they have your skin tone with dark hair. Those girls are in demand as well.
I mean,
I'm just
come
asking.
on.
Look, I'm just asking.
Like what do we see across our society that's presented as the epitome of beauty? It's the Kardashian look, it's the, Latina, right? You're wanting the stereotypical mix of exotic and European beauty. Oh, Max went out. He's spinning. Max? Uh-oh, Max is spinning, guys. We're losing him. We lost Max. So, right. So, the more your type is in demand, we lost Max, guys, but I'm just going to wrap up the conversation. The more, whatever your type is, the more it's in demand. So, what Max is describing is the equivalent of how I've talked about how women are wanting the 6'2", six-figure, six-pack man who's got all this going for himself, right? And all women want that 5% of the population or 10% over 6 foot, and even smaller percentage by the time you add in all that stuff. And you don't think you're really asking for too much, but by the time you drill down into what that really means as available, and then they have to want you. So do they exist? Yes. But are you what they want? He does want someone with the same ethnic group. He's Dominican and he wants a Dominican girl, but in America, Dominican girls are in high demand. Most of these women are black fishing. They're acting like they're black. Hi, honey, I'm doing great. So yeah, Max, to finish up what I'm saying, yes, your type is keeping you single. And yes, you need to open yourself up to the type of the women who like you. The women who like you. Shanice Stokes, Wavy Baby says he's more like delusional with an irrational level of high hope. Yes, he's the version of average at best. Like, so it's the same type. It's a reverse scenario where a lot of men are gunning for that type of girl and not realizing, especially because of social media, it makes it feel like there's so many of these people. But in reality, he wants a light-skinned Dominican. Yes, Wendy, that's exactly what Max was saying, is he wants a light-skinned Dominican. And light-skinned Dominican women are in high demand by Black men, white men, everybody. That look, because it is the commercial look of attractiveness. There's men who only like dark-skinned women. I saw it all in matchmaking. There's men who only like freckles. There's men who like short hair. There's men who like all kinds of things. But there is a stereotypical look of European exotic beauty that is considered the standard of beauty in the world. We know that as facts. Yeah, Mike says true. Okay, Max, your phone died. Jade says he also needs to think about what he looked like in high school versus now. Max, that's another really, really good point. Like you were able to attract that in high school, but now as you're getting older, do you still look the way you looked in high school? Right? For you to, and when we were all younger, everybody's broke. No, everybody's on this. It's a level playing field. High school and college, we're all broke. We're all just pretty guys and girls, you know, connecting and liking each other. But now as you're starting, we grow up into adulthood. Now we're judging by socioeconomics. We're judging by weight, body type. We're judging by all kinds of stuff. All kinds of stuff. Okay, so, oh gosh, did I go over? No, I already did it. Oh my goodness, my brain is getting bad, guys. Let me go back. Okay, this one's too long. Ashley, baby, respond to some of these when they write like a book in the emails and just let them know that unless they come on to ask such detailed questions, I can't read all of these questions online. Max says, I wasn't dating anybody, then I just started to happen to attract them. Steven says, can I jump on with you? Okay, we got another guy. Let's go on, Steven. Let me see. Let me find you, Steven. Yep. We got fellas. Yay. Sadly, Max says he was shy. But yeah, Max, I'm going to just tell you and save you some grief. You need to be thinking about the guys, the ladies who like you as real potential. Hi, Steven.
Hey,
How are you doing, sir?
How you doing today?
I'm doing great. Besides having a hot flash, I'm good.
Where are you located?
Atlanta, Georgia.
Oh, you in Atlanta? Okay. I'm from Los
Yeah.
Angeles. I'm in LA.
All right, West Coast in the house.
Yeah.
All right, Steven. So what's your question tonight? What you got going on?
So in general, my head has really been in like the black men versus black women space.
Yeah.
And I think
All the gender wars.
yeah, honestly, I feel like I probably need to tap out of social media because it's like really starting to like affect me, and like it's starting to warp my mind about how I'm viewing my sisters out here a little bit.
Yes.
But you know, I think I peeped the conversation today. That was actually was, I think it was a TD Jakes sermon. Right?
Okay.
And Jakes was basically kind of just touching on like a simple kind of fact that happens in relationships where, you know, maybe our sisters might feel like the men that they deal with aren't emotionally available. And in general, right? In general, it's just a thing, especially when we talk about black men. Especially when we talk about black men. And how he was kind of just saying, like, look, we are put in this space where we can only exhibit certain emotions.
Yes.
Really anger, honestly. Right?
Yes.
And when we do decide to express ourselves, when we do decide to be vulnerable, I think what often gets overlooked is the simple fact that it takes extreme courage for a man, for a black man, to
Yes.
be emotionally naked to his black partner.
Yes.
Then he went on to say like the typical rabbit hole. Ah, women might weaponize what happens. Women might weaponize that simple fact, and then you want to turn around and have gripes about us not being emotionally available when it's like
Yeah.
we don't have the room. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then I see
There's
like,
no space.
yeah, there's no space, and
There's no
I
safe space
yeah.
to do it.
Yeah, and I mean literally nowhere. If we talk about in our romantic relationships, there's no space there. Then when we talk about our friendships with the homies, there's absolutely no space there, right?
No.
If we're talking about, like, obviously I'm older, so my space is, my space of men is grown, thank God.
Right.
Um,
Right.
there's a lot of room for us to be more rebellious with just how we express ourselves. So I'm really thankful to God that I have the emotional like bandwidth within my homies that I can just be a human fucking being. I'm sorry to cuss.
Yes.
Um,
No, it's the truth. Yeah.
yeah. So then I heard I was seeing this rebuttal about how women feel like men are making excuses about us not being emotionally available, and I was like, see, this is exactly what Jakes was talking
The
about.
vicious cycle where
It's
there's no
continuous.
solutions.
There's no right.
Right.
There's no
The,
solutions. But mainly what I'm really experiencing, Rebecca, is like nobody wants to hear the other person out. Right.
no.
In my opinion, how I grew up, right? Because I consider myself multicultural, so I'm a bit of an alien in LA. My parents are from Central America, so I grew up speaking Spanish.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
And like I just grew up always hearing black women say that black men ain't shit. That's just something that
You
since
heard
I
it.
can remember, it's always been a thing. It's always been a thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
And for the most part, I've always, I never really heard how men felt. Now that I think
Because they
about
were silent. Because to your point, to express any feelings about any of that in any type of way would be considered to not be masculine, or you're bitching,
it.
or
Yeah.
you're complaining. So for years, black men have not said anything or had a voice, to be able to express how they feel about so much about what women have said. And it's been an open platform. Women have been talking about anything and everything for years.
Yes.
And there needs to be more safe space for men to share and open up, to be more vulnerable. And ladies, something that Stephen just said that's so crucial is this, and Carrie and I have talked about this a lot. This is why it is so crucial that men understand how important it is to have a wife.
Mm.
Black men, the safe space you're looking for to be able to be vulnerable is in your wife. And if we keep on this whole trajectory of rejecting marriage
I was
and
just
the
thinking
Black
about that.
family unit, I am Carrie's only safe place and space in the entire world to be vulnerable.
Mm.
That's it. With me, he takes off the cape, he takes the S off his chest, and he's just Carrie.
Yeah.
And I work hard to be that safe space and to be that partner that gives him the support and love to be emotional, vulnerable, to have moments of weakness that he's not constantly got to act like he's got it all figured out. And that only happens in very deep, intimate personal relationships. And that typically only happens even when a man gives his heart to a woman, which typically is going to be his wife.
That's tough. That's tough. I feel like, because when you were saying the marriage part, I was like, man. And the cold part about it is, like, I feel like, well, I'm not sure what the exact stat is, but I know for a fact, like the divorce clip in my demographic, like the 30 and under or the 30 and up is like more than 40%. So like people are getting married. I mean, honestly, shit. I'm one of my homies. See, they going through something right now, and it's looking like the D word is gonna be the ultimate route. And
Yeah.
ironically, it doesn't discourage me from marriage. It does make me question the shit a lot more though. And if I'm being completely honest, like I've kind of heard you talk about like I've heard you mention like like marriage ain't for everybody. I thought that was real helpful.
Yeah.
I think that was something that's people don't necessarily want to tackle and deal with, right? But I also think like, what is it about my generation that a lot of women are getting more power. Like a lot of women are stepping into these spaces, realizing that the space isn't for them, and they have the power to leave said space, right? I just think also, like, what is it about my generation that is so easy to kind of like wrestle with? I mean, to kind of like just mess with your feathers a little bit, that you don't have like a strong sense of resilience, that you don't know how to, because I feel like every nigga in my generation and like maybe a little bit older has been fucked up by Disney. If I'm being honest, if I'm being completely honest, like just the amount of trauma that a lot of the homies and I have experienced. Like just, I grew up in a single mom household. I don't even like saying that shit out loud because people like to poke at that shit for some odd reason.
Yes.
But like that was my experience. And like I remember like just seeing fucking Lion King and like me having like this enamored feeling with me wanting a dad with a deep voice to comfort me, to have like this balance of like strength and compassion and gentleness that I didn't receive. I grew up in but like when me and my mom left, we left because it was an abusive household. My dad was a very violent, man. Very violent.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He would beat the shit out of me and my mom's. Right?
Yeah.
So naturally, obviously, that affected me in the same way. Naturally, I kind of locked steps, just became violent when I wasn't a violent kid. I just wasn't.
Right.
I was a very soft-spoken, very much so, just a regular kid, right? And then when you start seeing shit, after a while, you just kind of just walk in it. It's almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy a little bit.
Yeah, because your role models, your examples displayed that behavior. So you start to emulate it and start to mimic it. It is how things are passed down. And here's the thing though. Carrie's getting ready to do a series that's talking about fatherhood and femininity. And he's been sharing some of the statistics with me about what's happened in our Black families, like in the last 50 to 70 years. He showed me a statistic, I think it was just yesterday, Stephen, that said like in the 1950s, only 24% of Black homes were fatherless.
Wow.
Only 24% in the 1950s. Go back further than that and it goes even lower. It was always a little higher than white people. Whatever we go through, it's always a little worse than everybody else.
Right.
But by the time you fast forward 50 years, it had skyrocketed to like 74% of Black homes are fatherless. We are dealing with an epidemic that has completely demolished the Black family. And as a result, what we're seeing in 2022 is two generations of people women and men coming out of fatherless homes.
Right.
So what does that mean? That means women are not used to depending on men for protection and strength. So they don't know how to tap into softness and femininity, and they don't know how to even create an environment for you to be soft and vulnerable, right?
That's the one for sure. Right.
Because they've been raised by single mothers who had to try to teach them to survive and try to keep them from being sexually violated and I mean,
Exploited
tough
for sure.
Black mothers, because they're trying to compensate for the lack of father and man in the home.
Right.
Then you've got Black sons being raised by Black mothers who don't have positive, healthy Black role models to show what does a husband and father, Black husband and father look like in a healthy, positive way.
Yeah.
Fast forward to 2022, and Black women and men are at each other's throats.
That's a fact.
And all it is just hostility, anger, bitterness, blaming.
Yeah.
There's this constant just deluge of toxic hate and anger and pain. If you go onto YouTube, you go down the rabbit hole on Instagram, Facebook groups, all this stuff that people are consuming constantly.
Yeah.
And then you have people like KS who come around. They have a voice. He was bringing a lot of his early work. He was bringing instruction for young Black men. He was giving etiquette. He was giving cologne and how to dress and how to treat women. And then he happened to start getting over into kind of jumping on and realizing there's a huge audience of voiceless, hurting men. And the second he began to really go in on women, he realized this is the stuff that started to go viral.
Right.
But why? Why did it go viral? I had a video that went viral years ago that talked about how women have unrealistic expectations. And
I remember that one for sure.
men made that video go viral, not women, men. I realized then when I would just read the comments on that video, first of all, they didn't know they don't know me. They don't know that I'm there. I'm not completely, creating a platform to bash women or men. They wanted me to keep going in that direction and rhetoric to bash women because they want to get women back for hurting them so bad.
Yeah.
They want women to pay. There's a lot of women who want men to pay.
Wow.
But unless we get to a place of healing and we start to create a space for real healing and real dialogue, because the truth is men have to heal and women have to heal. And then the only thing that Carrie and I can do, and this is what we're working on right now. The only thing that Carrie and I can do is only focus on those of you who want to heal. That's all we can do, because and then match you guys, give the opportunity for the healed men and women who are serious about wanting to be married and happy and healed, connect you guys. So you guys can then match yourselves and start happy Black families.
Right.
That's all we can do.
Yeah.
We can't focus on the people who just want to argue and fight and blame each other. We've got to focus on the people who are committed to doing the work and healing. And the thing, honey, I'm going to say this to you is this. You've got to make up your mind. It's going to take therapy. It's going to take coaching. It's going to take mentoring from people like me and Carrie. It's going to take connecting with the right people to have the right examples that you did not get growing up in order to reprogram your mind and change the narrative around Black love and family, and so that you can open yourself up to get married, to have a wife who's going to create that safe space for you to be 100.
Yeah, I obviously I very much so appreciate that, because I think one of the things that I found ironic, from what you were saying, from like I think two people that you were live with, was, I think one of the ladies asked, like, why is it so hard for ladies to leave a bad relationship? And like, that has been my experience with my small, like me myself, you know what I'm saying, and like two of the other homies was kind of all kind of experiencing the same thing, and I was like, that's so crazy. You know what I'm saying? That's a little crazy. And obviously a
Right.
lot of the things that you were saying, because he's a therapist, like one of my bros, like he's like my brother. He's a therapist himself.
Okay, good.
Yeah, and he was saying like, well, shit, you know, when you have low self-esteem, when you have extreme like complications, like viewing yourself a certain way, when you have, and just in general, just being a human fucking being, right? Aside, like,
Yeah.
you know, we all profess to be believers, but aside from that shit, like, we are human. Like, we all crave like connection. You know what I'm saying? You know, in my
Yes.
opinion, most of the time, like when we talk about sex within the faith, it's always this binary kind of conversation that becomes disingenuous, when really, if you just break down what that specific quote unquote sin is, we really are just longing for fucking connection. It's not really about porn. It's about trying to
Right.
plug this space that we can't seem to, you know what I'm saying, that we
Yes.
can't seem to find the
A
substance
void.
for it. Yeah.
That's right.
And
You
like,
want love.
yeah, and it's like so what's the next best thing? Like, what's the thing that at least alleviates this hollowness that I'm feeling? All right, I need
For
to
a
be,
moment.
yeah, for the moment, right?
For
It's
this
and,
moment in time,
mhm,
alleviate this loneliness
yeah,
and this void that I feel by not being able to be loved and give love in the way that I truly want to.
because most of the time we don't, like, because it's not in us. Like, I have deep issues with my self-esteem and my quote-unquote self-worth. Ironically, I grew up also like experiencing a lot of black women weaponize the fact that they're confident, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, if you don't value yourself this, if you don't value yourself that, then your own self-worth, if you don't view yourself that way, your worth goes down even more. And I always
Yes.
felt like, I was like, okay, so how the fuck do I get there without being shamed that I'm not there? And
Right.
and it's like, I can't even, so I'm for sure, obviously going back to the safe spot, right? I'm for sure not safe at all in general. I have to somehow put on this fucking face and figure out, hopefully in the future, sometimes when I can get a moment to breathe. And
Yeah.
then that way I can, I guess, collect myself and I guess build myself up. But that shit, you know, the whole,
But it's so much work.
yeah, yeah,
It's a lot of work. And if you can't even admit that you need to do the work, how do you even go about navigating to get the help to do the work to believe in yourself and have confidence? If as a man, you're not even allowed to openly really pursue that because you don't want anyone to know it.
right, right,
That's so complicated.
yeah,
And I appreciate you and your honesty and your transparency so much. You don't realize it, but the fact that you're even on here with me and having this conversation, you are a leader. You're a leader. Like, it takes so much courage, like you said, to be vulnerable, to be open, to be real, to admit these things. And this is what we need from men like yourself, who tend to disqualify themselves to say, I mean, hey, I got my issues. I can't lead nobody because,
right,
I've been through this, I did that. Rebecca, you don't know what you're talking about. No, what I'm saying is, nothing you've been through disqualifies you from the fact that you have the courage to say the things that so many people and so many men are unwilling or can't say. And we need more of that and conversations like this in order to be able to get to the root of the issues, in order to find healing. Cheryl just said, he is a unicorn. You're a unicorn, Stephen. Somebody, they always talk about me using that word unicorn. I talk about it in matchmaking all the time. Stephen's a unicorn.
Right.
Ladies, don't expect the next black man you meet to be talking like Stephen. I have confidence issues. You know, my dad was violent. No, ladies, don't be expecting the next person you meet to be talking like Stephen, because it's rare. And I think that we need to strive to make conversations like this more common. Stephen, please email me. I want to connect you with Carrie and some things that we're working on and have coming up. So I want to make sure we plug in and get you connected into some of the stuff we're working on, because like I said, you're really needed in these conversations and at the forefront of trying to bring change.
Right.
Change, not just more blaming and rhetoric and talk and so much, toxic stuff. We need more of real conversation.
I can find a link in your bio to your email.
Yeah, just send me an email to live@RebeccaLynnPope.com. Somebody put that in the comments. Live@RebeccaLynnPope.com. Ashley, if you can put that in the comments, honey. And then if you don't see that, just make a comment on the video after I post it, and we'll plug you in.
Okay, for sure. Look, I really appreciate you taking the time out to tap in with me. It means a lot.
All right, Stephen. Thank you so much for coming on. We appreciate you so much.
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, guys, that is all my time tonight. Listen, I've been on here talking forever. What time is it? It's 8:19. I've been on for an hour and 20 minutes. I love you guys. Love you guys. Make sure you click into the link for the Divine Dating Workshop. Stephen, make sure you email us at live@RebeccaLynnPope.com. We've talked to you guys about Abundant Life Nation that is coming, healing courses, programs to help you guys heal, as well as dating and connection for those of you who come in through our movement, so that more healed, whole, marriage, Black family, people who believe in love can connect with each other and find love through us as well. Thank you, Max, for coming on. All the fellas tonight, thank you so much for all of your content, your comments, all of your input. We appreciate you so much. Oh, Ashley's reminded me to pray. God, we thank you. We thank you for tonight's live. I thank you, God, for every guest that came on tonight. God, we send up a special prayer for men, for Black men everywhere. As Stephen has opened up to share about the needs of Black men, the voice of Black men, the pain of Black men, we lift up Black men tonight. We pray for healing. We pray for insight. We pray for recovery. God, we help us through this mission to put Black men back into a place of leadership, back into fatherhood, into husbands, into loving relationships. I pray wives for Black men. I pray blessed wives, loving wives, for the Black men who truly desire love and marriage. God, I ask for divine connections of love. Open up the doors, God, of recovery and healing so that people can connect to rebuild our community. We thank you, God, for everything that you're doing. We thank you in advance for how you're going to bless this movement. And we thank you, God, for keeping us and covering us all. Blessings in abundance, everyone. Mwah. I love you guys. I'll see you next week. We're back next Wednesday, 7 p.m. Fellas, make sure you join us again. We appreciate your input so much, so much. Blessings in abundance. Mwah. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.